All right, so go ahead and get yourself to a comfortable seat, whatever that means. You'd like to bend your knees and place your legs in front of you. Make sure they're not stacking. You place one in front of the other. Oh my goodness, poor dog. Take a minute to check in with yourself. Take a deep breath. Fill up that diaphragm. Expand your stomach. You can close your eyes or lower your gaze. And then check in with your body. Check in with the shape you're making. Are you making a C shape? Do you have a nice long spine? Do you have an L shape? You try to fix your spine up straight. Do your knees pop up in the air? Sometimes. And can you find that string at the top of your head? Pull it nice and tight, feeling the space between each vertebrae. Can you visualize your inhales? Can you imagine the air going through your nostrils, down the back of your throat, entering your lungs, filling up your lungs, all the way down to the diaphragm? Can you imagine those inhales are full of white light, filling up your lungs, filling up your entire body, all the way down to your toes? Can you imagine those exhales, full and deep from your diaphragm, coming up through your lungs, the back of the throat, out through your nostrils? Can you imagine they represent everything negative being forced out of your body, every sore, every ache, every pain, every annoyance, every negative thought? Ooh, just easing out of you. Every inhale, letting in that white light, letting in that positivity, inhaling all of that is good, and exhaling everything else out. Take a moment to identify something you no longer need, something that's no longer serving you. Maybe a thought, an idea, an emotion, a facial expression, a thought, a saying, whatever you want. You can identify something that's no longer serving you and you want to let that go. You can let that go with your next exhale. Watch it ride a train as it goes by, far away from you. Inhaling all that positive light, filling that void of whatever you just let go of. See if you can make that low belly expand with each inhale. Really pull in each exhale. Do a quick body scan and see if you can identify any spot that's still sore or stuck that needs attention. Maybe you'd like to breathe into that spot. Maybe you'd like to imagine the breath going there. Imagine it filling with that white light or filling with oxygen. There's something you want to bring in, an intention for today's class, a thought, an idea, a feeling, anything you want to bring in, go ahead and invite that in now. It can be anything in the whole wide world. And if you can't think of anything, it can just be to be present. And if you need a way to come back to being present, your mind starts to wander, you can always say, I'm breathing in when you're breathing in, and I'm breathing out when you're breathing out. Go ahead and switch the crossing of your shins, placing the opposite one in front. We'll close this moment with a few rounds of lion's breath. You can keep your eyes closed or you can flutter them open, whichever you prefer. We'll keep the arms outstretched on our inhales and curl the biceps up on our exhales. Starting with our inhale, exhaling for lion's breath, sticking that tongue out, forcing that air through the mouth. Inhaling again through the nostrils, pressing those arms out. Exhaling for lion's breath. One more time like that. Inhaling, pressing the arms out. Exhaling for lion's breath. Tongue out, forcing that oxygen out through the mouth. Return to normal breath. Release your arms. Gently flutter your eyes open or raise your gaze. And we'll start by lifting the arms up into the air. Gently melting those shoulders down, reaching from the bicep. Checking in with those ribs, pushing them back, pulling them back in, placing one hand on the mat and reaching the opposite arm over top. You can shine that chest towards the ceiling that's available to you. Really melt that shoulder down so it's not crunching your ear and reaching that arm over top. You can always walk that hand out if you feel like you're not getting enough of a stretch. On your next exhale, we're going to bring that shoulder down to the knee. And inhale all the way back up. Your arm can hover, you can place it on the ground, whichever you prefer. Exhaling down. Inhaling back up. One more like that. Exhaling down. Inhaling back up. Take a breath here. And on your next inhale, we'll stretch back up to the center, sighing those shoulders down the back, and then reaching to the opposite side for our stretch. Walking that arm out as much as you need to feel space in between those intercostal muscles and in between the hip and the bottom of the ribs. And shine that chest towards your ceiling. Melt that shoulder away from the ear and stretch the arm over. On your next exhale, bring that shoulder down to the knee. Then inhale back up. Exhaling the shoulder down to the knee. Then inhaling back up. One more like that. Exhaling the shoulder to the knee. Inhaling back up. On your next take a breath there. On your next inhale, you can come back to center. We'll fold forward a little bit. No need to round in the back here. Just stretch the back out nice and long. Maybe you find space in your sacrum. Maybe you tuck that tailbone under and find a little bit of space in that low back. And when you're ready, you can round forward in your back. Take a few breaths here. Collapsed in front of you. You can take a moment to try and find space in your hips. Near your sit bones. On your next inhale, we'll gently walk the fingertips up. Reach the hands back behind you, thumbs pointing forward towards the front of the room, fingertips towards the back. We'll just shine that forehead up towards the sky. You get a nice big inhale here and a nice big exhale. All right, come back to your sides. We'll give the arms a little shake out. And we'll take the arms out to the side, placing the palms like you're pushing the walls away from you on either side, bending the fingers if that's not available to you, or making fists. Then we're just gonna make nice, big, gentle rotations in that shoulder socket. And when you feel like you've had enough of those, you can go ahead and make big circles with those arms. When you've done a few big circles forward, you can do a few big circles backwards. See how that feels. See if there's any difference in the way that feels. And then you can go all the way. Opposite? No, one at a time. Oh, opposite. 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 No, just kidding. Don't do it. Okay. Give those shoulders a nice little shake out. We'll bring the arms out to the sides again. We'll curl them up into our bicep arms. We'll drop one arm down for robot arm. My robot arm is not one of robots. All right, making biceps here. We'll flip to the other side. Then the first side, other side, first side, other side. Do one more like that. And then drop those shoulders down, drop those arms down, give them a little shake out. And okay, bring your legs out in front of you. Give your knees a little shake out here. And flex your feet and point your toes a couple times to get those ankles woken up. You can even make circles with your feet if you'd like. Make sure you go in both directions. If you're like me and you hyperextend your legs, you can give a gentle bend in your knee. We'll start by bending one leg up, bringing that foot on the outside of the opposite leg, holding, excuse me, holding that leg in as tight as possible to your chest. From here, you're going to bring the opposite arm as bent leg up into the air, nice and straight. Maybe you feel that stretch in between your fingers. Maybe you feel that stretch in the back of the shoulder. Take a moment here to really stretch that arm up. Then we'll exhale, hook the knee, and twist to the back of the room, placing your opposite hand behind you. On your inhale, you can elongate your spine nice and tall. On your exhale, you can twist at the belly button like you're bringing out a dishcloth. On your next exhale, you can come to a gentle counter twist to the opposite side. Come back to center. We'll go ahead and release that leg. Give those knees a little shake out back and forth. Now we'll bend the opposite leg up. Place that foot on the outside of the opposite leg. Tickle in my throat. Pull that leg into your chest nice and tight. Elongate that spine into the air. Take a moment here. Raise that arm up nice and opposite arm up nice and tall. Opposite arm as bent knee. Raising that arm up high so if you can feel a gentle stretch somewhere in that arm. Take a breath here, a moment here. And then exhale, place that elbow on the opposite knee. Reach the opposite arm to the back of the room. On your inhales, can you stretch your spine nice and tall? And on your exhales, can you twist to the back of the room? On your twist to the back of the room, can you focus on the belly button and twist it like a dish rag? Like you're wringing out a dish rag. That's right. Your beautiful belly buttons are dish rags. And your next exhale, we can do a nice little counter twist to the other side. Come back to center. Extend both legs forward. Give your knees a little shake out, back and forth. Hello, mamacita. And then we will come to the back of the mat. Front of the mat, back of the mat, middle of the mat. We're going to come to our shins, placing those feet, gluing them to the mat at first. You can bring your sit bones down to your heels if you'd like. From here, we're going to walk our fingertips forward. So we're almost in a tabletop pose. Then we're just going to tuck those toes under. You can help it if you need to. Help them if you need to. My two last toes never want to join the party. And from here, just walk those fingertips back gently. You can bring your hands up onto your shins and have a nice straight back. Spine pointing up towards the sky. If that's too intense for you, you can always come forward onto your fingertips. Bring your bum off your heels if that's better for you. It's just it should be a gentle toe stretch, so no need to go too far. On your next inhale, we're going to place an invisible string coming out of the belly button, pulling that belly button forward in space so we come up onto our knees, keeping those toes tucked under, pulling that belly button as far forward as we can. We're going to lift our arms up in space. On your next exhale, you can windmill one arm back to touch a heel behind you. Breathing here, taking a moment, stretching that opposite arm into the sky. On your next exhale, you can windmill that opposite arm back. So you're clutching both heels, pulling that belly button forward. You can always do this against a wall in front of you so you can feel how close to the wall you are, how much you're doing this at a 90-degree angle. You feel the stretch in the front of your thighs. You feel it in your quads. We'll windmill that arm back up. Windmill the opposite arm back up. And we'll come down to a tabletop pose, gluing the tops of those feet back down to the mat. Nice neutral spine here. You can do a couple tucks and tilts of your tailbone. Give your spine a nice little warm up here. On the next inhale, we'll shine that chest forward, inhaling for cow pose, dropping that udder down, feeling those hip points rise into the air. Breathing here. Can you push the mat away from you so your neck pushes out of your shoulder girdle and you're not sinking down in your shoulders like this. From here, you can tuck your toes under. You can come up onto the tips of your fingers, pads of your fingers. Arch your back and exhale into a cat pose. Again, focusing in on the belly button, pulling it in the opposite direction this time, pulling that string back towards the upper back corner of the room where the ceiling meets the wall. From here, you can nod your head yes, shake your head no, move your head I don't know. You release any tension in your jaw, any tension in your glute. On your next inhale, you can release your toes, release your palms down to the mat. Inhaling for cow pose. Pressing that mat away from you, getting that head out of the shoulder girdle. Pointing those hip points up in space and dropping that udder down. On your next exhale, you can go into cat pose. Inhaling for cow. Exhaling for cat. Inhaling for cow. You can start to make these movements at your own pace and your own breath, linking each breath to movement. You can introduce new movements like S and C curves in your spine if you'd like to do that. When you're ready, you can come to stillness and come to a flat back. We'll gently lift the left arm into the air for a twist. On your exhale, you can thread that needle under, place that outside of the shoulder onto the mat, and then bring the opposite hand and foot outstretch. On your next exhale, you can bring your hand and leg back to the mat. You can release your arm back into that twist. Exhaling back to your tabletop pose. Inhale the opposite arm into the air, reaching it up into space. Hold. Breathing here. On your exhale, you can thread that needle under, place the shoulder on the mat, and outstretch your opposite hand and foot. On your next exhale, you can bring your knee back to the mat. Press your hand back in, back into that gentle twist. Reaching that arm into the sky. On your next exhale, you can come back down to the mat. Pressing the ground away from you. Releasing any tension in your shoulders, any tension in your glutes. You're going to tuck the back toes under and press back into a down dog. And pedal out your feet here in down dog. If you find a spot that's a little bit more sore, stuck, you can spend a moment there. When you're ready, when you're ready to come back to stillness, we can inhale the heels into the air and exhale them back onto the mat. From here in down dog, see if you can make mini tucks and tilts with your tailbone here. And when you've had enough of that, you can give your hips a little shake back and forth if that feels nice to you. On your next inhale, we're going to roll forward to plank pose. Just feel nice and comfortable in plank. Maybe you want to widen your stance. Maybe you want to push the ground away a little bit more. And on your next exhale, we'll press back to downward facing dog. On your next inhale, we'll lift the left leg into three-legged dog. Drop that back heel down for the right leg. Bend your knee here and open up your hips. Option to drop your foot behind you for rock star pose and lift that opposite arm in the air. When you're ready, we'll come back to three-legged dog. We'll close the hips and we'll keep the knee bent. From this pose, we're going to roll into plank, bringing that knee to the elbow. Exhaling, rolling to plank, knee to elbow. Inhaling back to three-legged dog, extend the leg back. Exhale, bend the knee, roll forward to plank. Inhale, back to three-legged dog, extending that leg back behind you. One more time, bending the knee, rolling forward, knee to elbow, and extend back, three-legged dog. On your next exhale, you can drop that leg back down to the mat. We'll inhale the opposite leg into the air for three-legged dog. Dropping that left heel back to the mat. On your next inhale, we'll bend the knee and open up the hips. On your exhale, you have the option to drop that foot behind you and lift your arm up for rock star pose. On your next exhale, you can come back to three-legged dog, extending that leg out behind you. Inhaling here. You're going to exhale the knee to the elbow in your plank pose. Inhaling for three-legged dog, extend that leg back behind you. Exhaling, rolling forward to plank pose. Inhaling back to three-legged dog. Exhaling forward to plank. Inhaling back to three-legged dog. Exhaling the foot back down to the mat. We'll reach those heels up into the sky. And exhale, pull them back down to the mat. Take a deep breath here. Nod your head yes, shake your head no, move your head I don't know. On your next exhale, you can hop or step forward to a forward fold at the front of the mat. Your first forward fold, it can be as gentle or as deep as you'd like. Your knees can be bent, they can be extended. You can feel the top of your head dripping down into the ground. And if you'd like to, from here, you can always sway back and forth or to and fro. Here we're going to place the right hand in between the feet, just up a little bit, like 6 inches, whatever's comfortable for you. I'm going to lift that left arm into the air for a gentle twist. Exhaling that hand down to the mat. I'm gonna inhale the opposite arm up. Exhaling that back down. Come into our gentle forward fold again. You can fold a little bit deeper than before if you'd like. Maybe your knees are a little more straight. Maybe your neck's a little looser. On your next inhale, you can place your hands on your shins and come up to your nice, long, flat back. We will exhale to fold forward again. And inhale to gently roll up to stand, placing each vertebrae on top of the previous one. What did I do? Okay. Standing in mountain pose at the front of the mat. Check in with the bottom of your feet. Make sure you're not falling into those arches, especially if you have high arches. Make sure you're pressing on the outer edges of those feet, feeling the weight on all four corners. Knees above ankles, hips above knees, shoulders above hips. Arms radiating energy at your side. I'm going to start by lifting the arms up for Urdhva Hastasana, melting those shoulders down your back. Imagining there's a beach ball in between your hands. I'm going to check in with the glutes, release any tension you may have. You're going to focus back in on that belly button and wringing out the dish towel, moving the body. Let's do this. Moving the body and keeping the hips where they are. See if you can be a straight line straight up from that belly button all the way up through the arms. On your next exhale, we can come back to the center. Check in with your shoulders, melt those shoulders down your back. Check in with your glutes, make sure you're not holding any tension. And we'll exhale to the opposite side, twisting at that belly button, holding that beach ball above your head. Feeling the hips pointed towards the front of the room. Front of the mat. So. On your next exhale, we'll come back to the center. From here, we'll bend to the left, reaching your left arm over, or sorry, your right arm overhead. Still holding on to that beach ball. Inhaling back to center. Exhaling over to the opposite side. Inhaling back to center. Next, we're going to shine the chest forward, reaching that ball behind you like you're going to throw it really far overhead. Your elbows can be bent slightly, but try not to bend them all the way and bring your thumbs to your shoulders. Just bend them slightly. From here, on your next exhale, we'll fold forward, bringing that beach ball all the way down to the mat and pressing it into the ground, the palm. Can you make this forward fold slightly deeper than the last? You can always grab opposite elbows here and sway back and forth or side to side. Your next inhale, we're going to press into the bottoms of the feet and gently roll up to stand. Standing in mountain pose, checking in with the bottom of the feet, making sure all four corners of the feet are pressing into the mat, not falling into the arches. Knees above ankles, hips above knees, shoulders above hips. You relax your arms at either side. You can leave your arms relaxed at your side. You can bring your hands to your hips, whatever you're more comfortable with. We're going to start just by tilting and tucking the tailbone. Moving that sacrum back and forth, tucking and tilting the tailbone, warming up the bottom of the spine. And once you feel like you've had enough of that, we're just going to move side to side. You can leave your knees out of the motion. You can be involved a little bit, but you can just move maybe an inch or two and really move those hips from side to side. Then when you feel like you've had enough of that, we'll take the hips to the right side, then forward to the left side, then back. Right, forward, left, back, making a triangle, then smoothing that triangle out into a circle. Waking up all those organs below the belly button. Moving the hips, minimal knee involvement, maybe an inch or two of movement. And then when you've had enough of that, go in the opposite direction. You can start with the triangle. Start with the diamond shape. And then smooth out to a circle. And when you feel like you've woken up all those organs, go ahead and really get the knees involved and bring those hip circles to a hilarious complete. Making sure you go in both directions. Maybe you find a spot where you're stretching out the back of the thighs or the outer hips. When you've had enough of that, you can go ahead and shake those knees back and forth, give your hips a little shake out, give your shoulders a little shake out. We'll come back to mountain pose at the front of the mat. Nice deep inhale here. Nice deep exhale. Inhaling the hands above the head for Urdhva Hastasana. Melting those shoulders down the back, away from the ears. Well, imagine there is a rope or a clothesline or a fence or a bench at the belly button. And as you exhale, see if you can fold over that. Maybe it's below your belly button. On your next inhale, you can place your hands on your shins for a nice flat back. Exhale, fold forward, plant your hands, step back to plank pose. Take a moment in plank. Nice deep inhale, nice deep exhale. Feel the ground pressing away from you. On your next, excuse me, on your next exhale, you can go through your vinyasa or lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat, inhaling for a low cobra or upward facing dog, and pressing back to a down dog. Nice deep breath in downward facing dog, pulling those heels down to the mat. On your next exhale, we'll hop or step forward. So we're in the forward fold at the front of the mat. On your next inhale, you can place your hands on your shins for a nice long flat back. Exhaling to fold forward. And inhaling to gently roll up to stand. And drink water. All right, standing in mountain pose at the front of the mat. Knees over ankles, hips over knees, shoulders over hips. Arms active at the sides. We'll inhale the arms above the head for Urdhva Hastasana. Exhaling to fold forward. Inhaling for hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhaling to fold forward. Place your hands, step back for your plank pose. Run through your vinyasa or lower your knees, press chin to the mat, inhaling for a low cobra or upward facing dog, and pressing back to a down. Breathing in downward facing dog. On your next exhale, you can hop or step forward to your forward fold at the front of the mat. On your next inhale, you can place your hands on your shins for a nice long flat back. Exhaling to fold forward. And inhaling to gently roll up to stand. Excuse me so much. Standing in mountain pose at the front of the mat. Inhale your arms above your head for Urdhva Hastasana. Exhaling to fold forward. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhale, folding forward, plant your hands, step back to plank pose. Run through your vinyasa or lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat, inhaling for a low cobra or upward facing dog, and pressing back to a down dog. Breathing in downward facing dog. On your next exhale, can you hop or step forward to the forward fold at the front of the mat. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, gently rolling up to stand. Standing in mountain pose at the front of the mat. Inhaling your arms above your head for Urdhva Hastasana. Exhaling to fold forward. Inhaling, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhaling to fold forward, plant your hands, step back, plank pose. Lower your knees, chest and chin, or run through your vinyasa. Inhaling for a low cobra or upward facing dog, and pressing back to a down dog. Inhaling in down dog. Exhaling here. Inhaling. And on your exhale, you can hop or step forward to your forward fold at the front of the mat. Your next inhale, you can place your hands on your shins for a nice long flat back. Exhale to fold forward and inhale to gently roll up to stand. Standing in mountain pose at the front of the mat. On your next inhale, we'll lift the hands above the head for Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale to fold forward. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhale, folding forward. Placing your hands on the mat, pressing back to a plank pose, running through your vinyasa or lowering your knees. Chest and chin to the mat, inhaling for a low cobra or upward facing dog, and pressing back to a down. On your next exhale, you can hop or step forward in a forward fold at the front of the mat. On your next inhale, you can place your hands on your shins for a nice long flat back. Exhale to fold forward. And inhale to gently roll up to stand. Give your hips a little shake out. Give your knees a little shake out. Drink the water if you need it. All right. Standing in mountain pose at the front of the mat. Releasing any tension in the shoulders, releasing any tension in the jaw or the glutes. We're going to inhale the arms up above the head. On your next exhale, we're going to bend the knees. Tuck the tailbone under and move the bum back for chair pose. Breathing in chair. On your next exhale, you can fold forward, plant your hands, step back to a plank pose. Run through your vinyasa or lower your knees. Chest and chin to the mat, inhaling for a low cobra or upward facing dog, and pressing back to a downward. Inhaling your right leg into the air for a three-legged dog, bending your knee, opening those hips up. Exhaling to bring that foot forward. Help it if you need to. We're going to drop that back knee down, glue the top, that back foot to the mat. Feel that scissoring motion between your knee and heel. And on your next inhale, we're going to lift the head, neck, and chest off the mat. Lifting the arms in the air, you can gaze at the thumbs for a gentle back bend. On your next exhale, you can frame that front foot, tuck those back toes under, bring that back knee up, and kick that foot forward about 12, 18, 6 inches, whatever you need to get both of the heels onto the mat. Once that happens, you can reach your forehead towards your shin and pull your hip back in space. On your next exhale, you can kick both feet back, come into your plank pose. Lowering your knees, chest, and chin to the mat, or running through your vinyasa, coming up for a low cobra or upward facing dog, and pressing back to a down dog. Breathing in downward facing dog. And inhale the left leg into the air, three-legged dog. Exhale, bend the knee, open up the legs. Exhale, swing that foot forward, help it if you need to. From here, we're going to lower the back knee down, glue that back foot onto the mat. Inhale the head, neck, and chest off the mat, reaching your arms in the air, sighing those shoulders down your back, and staring at your thumbs for a gentle back bend. On your next exhale, you can frame your front foot, tuck those back toes under, bring that back leg up, kick it forward about 6, 12, 18 inches, whatever you need to get that. Both heels on the mat. Then reach that forward forehead towards your shin. On your next exhale, you can take both legs back so you're in your plank pose. Run through your vinyasa or lower your knees. Chest and chin to the mat. Inhaling for a low cobra or upward facing dog. And pressing back to a down dog. Breathing here in downward facing dog. On your next exhale, you can hop or step forward. So you're in a forward fold at the front of the mat. On your next inhale, you can gently roll up to stand, placing each vertebrae on top of the previous one. All right. Standing in mountain pose at the front of the mat. Inhaling the arms above your head. Exhaling, coming into chair pose, tucking those toes back, tucking that tailbone under, bending the knees and reaching the arms forward. Exhale, folding forward, placing your hands onto the mat and stepping back to your plank pose. Running through your vinyasa or lowering your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhaling for a low cobra or upward facing dog and pressing back to a down dog. On your next inhale, we'll lift the right leg into the air, three-legged dog. Exhale, bend the knee, swing that foot forward, help it if you need to. From here, we'll lower that back heel down and press that chest off the thigh for warrior one. Keep those hips faced towards the front of the mat. Keep that front knee bent. Make any adjustments you may need to. We'll lift the arms into the air. On your next exhale, you can bring your arms behind you, interlace your fingers back behind your back, and bring that shoulder down to your knee. Humble. On your next inhale, we'll come back to our warrior one. We'll stretch out to our warrior two. Keeping that front knee bent, reaching arms in either direction. Bring that palm forward and then back to reverse your warrior. Exhaling back to your warrior two. Straighten that knee, come forward and down for triangle pose. Reaching those arms in either direction. Feeling that same twisting motion and that wringing out of your midsection. Your next inhale, we'll come back to our warrior two. And then exhale back down into side angle pose. On your next exhale, you can windmill your arms down to your framing your front foot. Kick that front foot back to meet the back. Downward facing dog. Run through your vinyasa. Roll forward to plank. Lower your knees. Chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra. Upward facing dog. Press back to a down. Lifting that left leg into the air. Three-legged dog. Bending that knee, swinging that foot forward, helping it if you need to. You're going to rotate that back heel down. Bring those arms up for a warrior one. Release your arms behind you. Interlace your release your fingers behind your back. Odd thumb on top this time. And exhale forward for humble warrior. On your next inhale, we'll push back to our warrior one. Exhaling out to warrior two. Inhaling forward, bring that palm up and then back to reverse your warrior. Exhaling back to warrior two, releasing that knee and coming forward and down to triangle. Bending that front knee, coming back into warrior two. Then we'll exhale the forearm to the thigh for side angle pose. Exhale, windmill those arms down, frame that front foot, kick that front foot back to meet the back. Downward facing dog. Roll forward to plank, run through your vinyasa or lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat, inhaling for a low cobra or upward facing dog, and pressing back to a down dog. On your next exhale, you can hop or step forward. So you're gonna forward fold at the front of the mat. On your next inhale, you can gently roll up to stand. Standing in mountain pose. I'm gonna get a drink of water. All right. Standing in mountain pose at the front of the mat. You can keep your feet hips width distance apart, or you can heel toe them together. We're gonna inhale the arms up for Urdhva Hastasana, bend the knees, tuck that tailbone under, and come into a chair pose. Exhaling the hands to heart center. We're gonna hook one elbow on the outside of the opposite knee and come into a chair pose twist. On your next inhale, we'll come back to our chair. Exhale to the opposite side, pressing the opposite elbow into your knee and twisting from the midsection. On your next inhale, we'll come back to center. Exhale to fold forward. Plant your hands, step back. Plank pose, run through your vinyasa or lower your knees. Chest and chin to the mat. Inhaling for a low cobra, upward facing dog. And exhaling back to a down. On your next inhale, we'll lift the right leg into the air for a three-legged dog. Exhale, bend that knee. Swing that foot forward. Help it if you need to. We'll rotate that back heel down. That front knee bent. We'll windmill the arms into warrior two. Excuse me. From here, we'll bring that palm forward and back to reverse your warrior. We'll come back to warrior two. Release the front knee. Come down to triangle pose. In your next inhale, we'll come back to warrior two. Exhale down into side angle pose. On your next exhale, we'll windmill the arms down, so we're in a wide-legged forward fold. From here, you can walk your fingertips back behind you to get a much deeper, more intense fold here. You can walk your fingertips forward and come into a wide-legged flat back. And from here, we're going to heel toe those feet together. to the widest squat you can come into so that your heels are on the mat. Heels being on the mat is really the only important thing. On your next exhale, you can press that ground away from you, walk your fingers back, make your way back into a plank pose, running through your vinyasa over your knees, chest and chin to the mat, inhaling for a low cobra upward facing dog, and pressing back to a down dog. On your next inhale, we'll lift the left leg into the air for a three-legged dog. Exhale, bend the knees, swing that foot forward, help it if you need to. I'm gonna rotate that back heel down. When you're ready, we'll windmill the arms into warrior two. On your next inhale, we'll reach forward and then back to reverse your warrior. Exhaling into warrior two. Give that knee a rest, inhaling up and then exhaling down for triangle pose. Your next inhale will come back into warrior two and then down into side angle pose. From here, we can windmill the arms down and come into our wide-legged forward fold again. Heel to those feet together and come into whatever squat you'd like. On your next exhale, you can press your bum back into the air, walk yourself over, and come into a downward facing dog. Rolling forward to plank, lowering your knees, chest into the mat. Inhaling for low cobra, upward facing dog, and pressing back to a down dog. On your next exhale, you can hop or step forward to a forward fold at the front of the mat. From here, you can gently roll up to stand. So you're in mountain pose at the front of the mat. Give your legs a little shake out, give your hips a little shake out, and release down. All right. We're going to come into our balancing pose. I'm going to come into tree. Waking up all four corners of the feet, really rooting that down, lifting up in those arches. You can kickstand that heel to the ankle, place the foot against the calf, or press the heel into the inner thigh. Hands can be on your hips at heart center, branches blowing in the breeze, whatever is most comfortable for you. And if you have trouble balancing, you can always pick a stationary point to stare at. That'll help you balance. You can remove your foot from your leg. You can bring that knee forward, extend your leg, bring that foot a little higher, maybe a little higher, maybe a little higher, let it go. You can give your standing leg a massage on that outside muscle and bring all four corners of the opposite foot into action. Pull up on that arch. You can kickstand against the ankle. You can place that foot against the calf or bring the heel into the inner thigh. As long as the foot is not making contact with the knee, hands can be at heart center, on your hips, or branches blowing in the breeze. If you fall out of it, you can always just come back in, no big deal. And remove your foot from your leg. You can bring that knee forward, extend your foot out, maybe lift it a little higher, maybe a little higher, and let it down. Give a little massage to that standing leg. Give your knees a little shake out and come back to the front of the mat. Standing in mountain pose at the front of the mat, we're going to inhale the arms into the air for Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, fold forward, plant your hands. We're going to step back. Roll forward to plank, lower your knees, chest and chin, or run through your vinyasa. Inhale for a low cobra, upward facing dog, and pressing back to a down dog. On your next inhale, we'll lift the right leg into the air for three-legged dog. Exhale, bend the knees, swing the foot forward. Help it if you need to, or put it on the outside of the hand, so it's hand, hand, foot. We'll come into lizard pose. Pressing the ground away, feeling that neck reaching out of that shoulder girdle. Stretching in the front of that back thigh, extended leg. Pulling that belly button in nice and tight, feeling that low belly tighten. We're going to kick that foot back to our three-legged dog. Bend the knee again. Exhale, bring that shin forward for pigeon pose. Setting that back leg up so it's nice and straight behind you like a pin. Inhaling the chest up and exhaling down for pigeon pose. Your next inhale, you can lift your head, neck, and chest off the mat. Come into a tabletop pose and tuck those back toes under. Press yourself back into a downward facing dog. Inhaling that left leg into the air for three-legged dog. Exhaling, bending that knee, swinging that foot forward to in lizard pose. Your foot is on the outside of your hands, hand, hand, foot. Breathing in lizard, pressing that ground away, bringing that neck out of the shoulder girdle. Holding that low belly in, lifting that leg up into three-legged dog. Gonna exhale the shin forward, come into pigeon pose. Making sure that leg is nice and straight back behind you like a pin. Inhaling your chest up and exhaling down for pigeon pose. Your next inhale, you can lift your head, neck, and chest off the mat and come back to your tabletop pose. Tuck those back toes under, press yourself back to your downward facing dog. Last vinyasa, optional as always. You can run through your vinyasa or lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhaling for low cobra, upward facing dog, and pressing back to a downward. On your next inhale, we'll roll forward to plank and lower down. One foul swoop. And then you can roll onto your back. So we'll gently windshield wiper out the knees back and forth. Place your shins so you can place your feet on the mat so you can just about touch the back of your heels with your fingers. And we'll come into 3 active bridge poses. On your next inhale, we'll tilt the tailbone under, lift the tailbone into the sky. Lift that chest, reaching towards the chin. You can bring your arms behind you and interlace your hands behind your back if you'd like. And do 3 to 5 good breaths here. On your next exhale, release your hands, release your spine back down to the mat. Windshield wiper out your knees, back and forth. And you can come to stillness. And on your next inhale, you can tuck that tailbone under, lift the hips into the air, and come into your second bridge pose. Release your hands, release your shoulders, release your spine back down to the mat. Windshield wiper your knees back and forth. And when you're ready, you can tuck that tailbone under, lift your hips into the air, and come into your final active bridge. On your next exhale, you can release your hands, release your arms, release your spine back down to the mat. You can windshield wiper your knees out, back and forth again. This time we will take the right ankle on the left knee, lift that left knee into the air, interlace your hands behind your left thigh, and press that right elbow away from you, right knee away from you with your right elbow. If you're not finding a place to stretch here, you can always move your legs back and forth, pull your leg towards you, rock your hips from side to side until you find a spot that's maybe a little bit more sore, a little more stuck, maybe needs a little bit more breath or attention. Release your hands from your legs, release your legs down. Switch the crossing of the legs, bringing that left ankle to your right knee, bring that right leg up in space. Flexing both feet here, you can interlace your hands behind your thigh and press your left knee away from you with your left elbow. If you're happy here, you can stay. If you need to find a space that needs stretch, you can always bring that leg closer, move your hips back and forth, maybe you rock from side to side. Looking for a space that's more sore, stuck, that needs a little bit more attention or love. Release your hands from your legs, release your legs down. Go ahead and windshield wiper your knees back and forth. We'll hug the knees into the chest and drop them to one side for your gentle twist. Your arm can be stretched out the opposite side. You can have your arms on your knees, or in cartoon cactus arms, your gaze can be at the ceiling or over the opposite arm. On your next inhale, you can come back to center. And then exhale your legs to the opposite side. Arms can be outstretched, your hands can be on your knees, or in cartoon cactus arms. Your gaze could be over your opposite shoulder or towards the ceiling. On your next inhale, you can bring your knees back to center. Then you can release your legs down and come into your final resting pose. And bring your awareness back to your breath. You start to make small movements in your fingers and toes. You can roll onto one side using your arm as a pillow and take one breath in the fetal position. Then, using the same slow quality of movement, you can come up to a comfortable seat. We'll close with one Om, bringing your hands to heart center. Inhaling for Om. Om. Namaste.